What's going on? What's up? It's your boy King here again with the League of Legends patch notes 10.20. Uh, Make sure that you are subscribed down below. You have joined the community over at twitch.tv/call_me_king, where we stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And sometimes you get a bonus day on Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you come hang out with the crew, hang out with the stream, and we just have some pretty cool people over there. And again, that's twitch.tv/call_me_king. Going on with the kind of state of the meta where we're at, we're getting to the end of the season. At the end of the season, we know that around Worlds time, they start to try to finalize and try to make patches smaller and smaller and smaller. Normally, after the Worlds patch goes through, that you get to see a lot more. Last patch was the Worlds patch, so we didn't see a lot of crazy changes. But now we're at a place where I think they're in a good place leading into preseason. So we've already seen them discussing the rework of items or adding 1/3 new item, keeping 1/3 of the items, and then getting rid of 1/3 of the items. Did I say that? Adding, reworking, and dropping. So it's in 3 parts. And with that in mind, they're going to have to make changes to champions. They're going to have to make changes to kits, to builds, to stats. And right now, when it comes to in the game, I would say the meta for the most part in games that I'm seeing, and that's in gold MMR, gold average, you're seeing a lot of offensive team comps. Though the team comps with the most like tanks generally tends to win out. You do tend to see like the full AD team comp happening, or I would say the full aggro team comp happening. You're seeing fighter bruiser tops, aggressive junglers, like low HP aggressive junglers, whether they be your Lee Sins and Kha'Zix, or even like your Lilias and Evelyns. In the mid lane, you're seeing assassins, some battle mages, some low range control mages, nothing too far, nothing too pokey. Like you're not seeing your Xeraths and your Vel'Kozes, anything like that. You are seeing like Oriana's, maybe a Syndra, LeBlanc. But you're also seeing a lot of AD. You're seeing a lot of AD mid laners: Talon, Zed, Yasuo, Yone. Bot lane, it's still pretty much dominated by Caitlyn and Ashe, but you're seeing a lot more Jhin, and of course the new champion Samira, who I've been playing as much and as frequently as I can. And the supports are either full on engage. You see a ton of Leona. I mean, I think I see Leona at least once every 3 games. You're also seeing a lot of Nautilus. I'm seeing at least less enchanters. I think enchanters could warp or shape the meta. I know that there's been some play, especially over in Korea, where enchanters have gone back to the top lane, and they're finding, like Lulu top having the highest win rate. People are back to playing Soraka top, Sona, and so on, which is allowing for the team balance over there at least to be a little bit different. But here, like I said, it's just kind of what I'm seeing: a lot of more engaged, high offensive, gaming, high offensive teams. And again, I just tend to see the team that at least has more CC, or the team that has a beefier front line and is able to get to those end of the game team fights, or win those end of the game team fights, ends up winning the games 9 times out of 10. Outside of times where a teammate gets picked off randomly and puts your team at a gross disadvantage, bulk share is whoever has the best team fight wins. And I think being in a team fight meta, you want to see more front to back fighting. a lot of times these assassins get picked off, or they end up dying well before they're able to sufficiently do anything, and that can really turn the tide of a team fight. Because right now, like if an assassin goes in, you're seeing the assassin either get CC'd or die before they can get to the carries that they're trying to. Even though there isn't an enchanter peeler type, you do have, like I said, champions like Nautilus or Leona that if they're choosing not to go in all the time, they're able to stay back and defend the carries that those champions are trying to kill. And again, with those either assassins or short range battle mages, there's still the ability to fight front to back really, really well while keeping your carries relatively safe. Now going on to the 10.20 patch notes. This is just the brief overview, but I feel like just going over it. Aatrox, Atrox, my man. Our self-healing increased later. Aatrox wants to step into his full potential as an unkillable DPS monster, so we're helping him harness his darkened power by curbing some of his mid to late game fall off. Hopeful now this warrior demon won't fall flat into the late game of the team fights. Okay, so they're basically just bringing up his healing the later on the game goes. So when he ults, he's just going to get more life. Well, I think I don't think it's life steal. I think because he heals from all sources of his damage. So his abilities heal him, his auto attacks heal him. There may be a component there that has to do with life steal, but all in all, they're just making him kind of fit the theme a little bit more. He heals. The darkened blades is supposed to kind of siphon blood or siphon life force from people, so it kind of fulfills that thematic. Let's just go Braum's Q, base damage increase, cost decrease. So with the base damage increase, what did it say? Base damage increase or decrease. Crap. Base damage increase, cost decrease. So this is just an overall buff then. So they're buffing Braum at all ranks. So it looks like 15, 15. So it's 15 at all ranks that they're adding, and then they're lowering the mana cost by 10 by 10 at all ranks. So it'll just give them a little bit more. Braum is still in a really, really weird spot. In pro play, he's really, really bad, and he's only really utilized as an Ornn counter. Whereas in like solo queue, he's decent because he's able to create havoc. But you have to be like a good Braum player. So I'll say the difference between a good Braum player and a bad Braum player. A bad Braum player is easier to spot. They kind of like shoot out a queue. They might be able to block a few things. They do an okay job of ulting. Maybe they'll hit one person, maybe they'll hit two people. But a lot of it is more reactionary. Where a good Braum player is like jumping ahead to those minions to gap close to a target that they want to like auto queue so that all their AD carry has to do is land one auto attack to be able to stun them. And then once they get stunned, they land the CC combo to chain the CC. They're also putting up their shield so the other incoming damage gets mitigated and blocked. Likewise, in the middle of team fights, a good Braum is actually auto-attacking, like maybe queuing one person, auto-attacking another person, auto-attacking another person, since they're kind of trying to jump on him since he's the front line. You tend to see the better Braum players put at least one stack of passive on one or more than one target. Instead of just blowing everything on one target to try to blow them up, they spread it around so that way, in the off chance that somebody else, maybe the top laner, is fighting the enemy jungler and isn't focused on the other front liner, that person's able to get stunned by the Braum passive as well, versus, like I said, just kind of funneling and focusing on one person. So this will help Braum overall. I think good Braums that are good with their skill shots, or players who are good with skill shots, are just going to benefit because, I mean, you're just getting more damage for free. Illest, Alawi, passive tentacle spawn cooldown decrease. So they're just buffing the rate in which her tentacles come up. 20 to 12 seconds, 20 to 7.25 seconds. So this is a buff. It is a buff. The only reason why I'm a little hesitant about it is because a lot of games don't. I don't know if you get to see Alawi make it to. I don't think you get to see Alawi make it to level 18. So yeah, 16 probably. A lot of games end a little bit earlier. Game lengths are long, but people aren't doing the things in those games to get to those later levels. I've been in games that are like 35, 40 minutes where you still have people that are just hitting level 16. Meanwhile, if you were farming properly, you would have hit level 16 like at around 27, 30 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. So it'll help her all in all. I still am in the mind that if you play it properly and you put your tentacles, the spawning tentacles, in the right places, she can be played in the mid lane. I know a lot of people think that that's crazy, or they've seen it happen in their games and it doesn't work out too well, but she just has a better matchup against mid laners than she does top laners. Top laners are meant to kind of like sustain through everything. If you look at a bunch of top laners, Darius, Garen, they either have immense shielding Urgot or life steal that allows them to get through the laning phase, whereas mid laners just don't have as much healing. And once she's able to get a little bit ahead of them, they either have to base because she's pummeled them down, or she's just able to out-sustain them as long as she's landing her Qs. Karthus, base armor decrease. We're continuing to tweak Karthus to get him into a comfortable place where, since he's been a bit overwhelming across the map, especially in bot lane, aiming to bring down his defenses against AD carries. So this is just going to help. This is not only going to help against AD carries, even though they're trying to target it in that sense, but this is also going to be great, helpful to bringing down his power in the jungle. I believe, again, I will have to double check, but I believe they're changing the damage profile of jungle camps, so more of them do AD damage. So this will hurt him as well. I believe Riot just wants to get Karthus out of the jungle. I don't have any insider info on that. I don't have any information. I just believe that Riot honestly does not want to have jungle Karthus be a thing anymore. So they've made the changes that they've made. They even reverted some of them in hopes to keep him strong enough to be a mid laner and maybe this AP carry bot lane deal. But I think they just want him out of the jungle. I think someone who can AFK farm on Karthus and then just hit R from the jungle and basically win team fights is tricky. Effectively, like the LCK, they were utilizing the players that were really, really good Karthus players, like Cuz on SKT, were effectively utilizing like a funnel strategy where Karthus would like clear his camps and then like drive by the mid lane, pick up all the minions, and keep on going about his business. He'd have, I don't know, almost like double his enemy jungler's gold and creep score. So I'm not opposed to them getting Karthus out of the jungle, but I also understand the validity of having another AP. They'll probably need to rework the AP jungle item, because that thing is really, really strong. Kassadin, Q shield decrease early. So I mean, if you're in high elo and professional play, Kassadin is a beast. Kassadin players are really, really good. If you're in anywhere near my MMR, 90% of Kassadin players are hot garbage. They don't know how to lane. They don't know how to counter pick their matchups. They often either just blind pick Kassadin and just hope that the enemy has somebody who's never played League of Legends lock in, like, I don't know, Syndra or Orianna or something. And even then, they don't understand that they don't have to queue the person hitting them. They can queue a minion to get that shield. So this will hurt bad Kassadin players. Good Kassadin players will still just be able to sustain with corrupting potion, fleet, and mitigating damage from the shield that you get. Katarina dagger retrieval damage ratio decrease. So she must be too strong in certain levels of play. I personally haven't seen a Katarina in a bit. I think the games that I've had them hovered, there's either been a dodge or a disconnect or something. But I think Katarina's in a good spot because with how offensive team comps are, there's not a lot of CC. So due to the lack of CC, Katarina's kind of able to jump in, do whatever she wants, jump around. Champions like Katarina, champions like Master Yi, like the new Samira, all these types of champions are doing the Lord's work because there's nobody stopping them or hindering them from pushing from doing their damage. There's no one just locking them down. Kled, base magic resistance decrease. So Kled is really, really popular in the mid lane, has a really high win rate in the mid lane. So this is probably just to tune that down. So that way he's not just running over matchups that, because normally in the top lane, yeah, if he's fighting Lowy or Darius or Fiora or whoever, Fiora's a bad matchup for Kled, by the way. Like if you pick Kled and Fiora locks in on the other side, just dodge. Or like Aurelia or something. Yeah, Kled will do fine, but you put him in the mid lane again with these mages that he's just able to kind of run over. He has more mobility. He has CC. Once he kind of gets up and going, especially from the mid lane, he's just able to roam like crazy. His ultimate is spectacular. So bringing down his magic resistance will help in those matchups. Lulu, her whimsy is being decreased. That's kind of painful. But I guess like Lulu Kog'Maw is still pretty strong. So Lulu Kog'Maw is really, really strong. Lulu Twitch is kind of the poor man's Twitch Yumi right now. But in pro play and at Worlds, you're seeing a lot of Twitch Rakan. Rakan's just broken. I think he's one of the premier carry supports right now, especially now that champions like Lux in the bot lane have kind of diminished. But that whimsy, I don't think this hurts too much. It's annoying as an AD carry player because you're getting less attack speed. But Lulu's seeing way more prevalence in the top lane. So her being able to carry games out of the top lane where she's still building support. Again, it goes back to that Janna, Sona, all those metas and whatnot. Maokai. We got our boy Maokai out here. He is getting tuned down a little bit. Bramble Smash. It's just getting a little bit of a tweak in the later stages. I think they just don't want the super tank being able to solo carries. And I mean, for those of you that have been coming to the stream, sometimes you see us do things like Soraka Maokai bot lanes and stuff. Maokai overall is just a strong pick currently, and he has versatility as a support. You can play Maokai as an AP support in E-spam, or you can play him as an AD or a tank support and be full on engage and disruption. So Nunu base armor decrease. Again, they're just trying to maybe bring him down a little bit because he's so strong. Pansar Dragon reached rank 1, basically spamming Nunu. So that kind of exposed that the champion is very, very strong. It's also very, very strong. It doesn't have to farm a lot, which is insane. So if you're proactively and consistently ganking and able to get those ganks off, he's actually able to just hard carry games. Rise. I don't know why they're buffing Rise. Q-based damage increase. That doesn't make any sense. Like, do we really need Rise to be strong again? I know 10 AP or 10 base damage is not the highest thing in the world, but that just allows him to get to his wave clear like sooner, like a lot sooner, where he can actually just crush through. Scion. Q ratio to monsters increase. So increasing the prevalence of Jungle Scion. I think Jungle Scion is pretty cool. I played it for a while when he first got reworked. He having that tank jungle is really nice. He provides good initiation, good damage, and this is just gonna help us clear. So a full clear, full wind up. So I'm pretty good. Erg. Monsters increase early. Monsters and minions. So this is gonna help his jungle clears also. So a while back, Riot tried to do this thing where they made certain junglers and certain certain non-jungle champions more viable for the jungle, like Zed, Talon, Morgana, Brand. This might just be a continuation of that project. Varus or Varus. Just increasing his E damage and the R cooldown gets decreased. So this is an overall buff. I think there was that worry back when he was building lethality where he was able to he was able to poke out the enemy laner. So I could see the return of Emax Varus with this going up, but at the same time Qmax then Emax doesn't really matter. There's less poke compositions and a lot more engage in fighting and stuff like that. Relentless Hunter is massively outperforming other runes, especially in skilled mid lanes. We're bringing down its reliability and reducing some of the base power. Out of combat movement speed, 10 movement speed plus 9 movement speed per bounty stacks up to 55 at 5 stacks. 5 movement speed plus 8 up to 45 at 5 stacks. So wow, they actually just cut this in half. That's pretty gross. So that's a hard nerf. I could see Relentless Hunter just not being utilized, and that's helpful. I can see just people straight up not using Relentless Hunter anymore. Worlds, cool. Bug fixes and quality of life changes. I check these sometimes because they do sometimes throw in Lux can no longer slow her enemies for longer than a period intended when she reactivates her E. So like that's a bug fix, but it's a nerf for people who are abusing it or were using it without knowing that it was negatively affecting their opponents. No longer get permanent vision in an area if she cloned by Alawi. I never saw that bug. Didn't even know it was a thing. No longer destroys enemy spell shields. Now always deals full damage to targeted enemy. Oh, so maybe they accidentally coded the same thing that's on Renekton's Empowered W or something. Or oh, okay. So because it's an auto attack reset, it itself isn't a spell. So now when you if you auto and then you do your W and they spell shield, unless one of the tentacles hit them or something else, it doesn't break the spell shield. So this is kind of a nerf. But I don't know whether the spell shield was blocking the damage from the W, because then that'd be a buff, because now the damage is going through. So I'm not sure how it worked before. This is a tooltip thing. Passive 2 seconds from 1.5. I'm assuming that's just these things are all regular, no longer loses. So that's a buff. So when he used to take Shyvana's ultimate, he'd lose all of his mana. So yeah. Full duration of the ability, that's a buff, but just for that skin. Show up collection tab, Winter Wonder Oriana, Shockwave VR. Yeah, so it looks like there were only a handful, and then we already went through. There's a whole video on these Dragon Mancer skins that was really fun. And these are the chromas. We might actually do a video on the next skin line. I don't know what it is. All in all, like I said, these buffs and nerfs don't really push the game too far in one direction or another. I think primarily just because it's the end of the season. But that being said, good luck in your games. Again, feel free to like, subscribe, comment if you agree or disagree with my outlook input onto the end of the season, current state of the game and ranked. Feel free to drop by the stream. Like I said, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at twitch.tv / call_me king. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. Have a good night, and be good to one another. It's your boy King. Peace.